Great. Everyone like, subscribe, smash, whatever you're supposed to do. Yeah, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason, world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Jason and I are masters of everything Mr. Texas Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that line that the lawyer put in there?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it's so excellent, yeah.
In a letter or something?
No, in a closing document.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because we're using like an LLC, and they're like, well, we want to... It puts us on the hook. Like the lawyer is declaring, this is who these guys are. They are masters of everything Mr. Texas Real Estate.
What document was
Oh,
that?
it's funny. I don't know. It's in there.
That's funny. God.
I had to sign it.
Did you really?
Yeah, this is my closing document. I'm like, yeah, it's great.
You know, you guys take this business way too seriously. Most people are...
Well, I think because, we use, silly made up LLC names.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, hey, the reality is this is Mr. Texas Real Estate.
All right. Yeah, got it.
And we don't want to be, someone's taking off with all the art.
She's taking her art.
It's an art heist going on right now.
Yeah. Does that mean she's moving out? What's
Yeah,
the
she's
story?
done.
She's done what?
Yeah, she's out.
Oh. Okay. Out of
She
what?
got an e-buyer job.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, it's like, I don't want any hard feelings. I'm like, are you kidding me? Can I get that job?
Yeah. So she's going to be working for the iBuyers.
Yeah, but then they project between $30 and $50 million in sales.
Here in Houston?
Mm-hmm, in deals.
Wait a minute. But I thought the iBuyers were
Nope.
going away.
Saying an iBuyer, it's a local guy. It's like us. Not like us, but they're out of Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
So they're a Texas buyer. They're trying to do a couple $100 million this year.
That's going to be interesting. So I wonder if they're doing rehabs and all the other stuff.
At some point, my company might actually apply for those.
Yeah, interesting.
I was like, yeah, we're running a pretty lean at this point. We're good.
Yeah, can you imagine if we had a capital infusion of a quarter bill and they just said, go for it, guys?
Oh, my God.
The returns are there.
Yeah, they're all there, of course. Anyway, hey, this is
Wouldn't
Robert
be doing
Jason.
this show much longer. If
I
that
was
were the
going to say,
case.
I'm
I will tell you
already
that.
thinking about leaving. I'm like, oh, let's get out of here.
If we and that's one thing I've told a lot of investors. I've never said it on the show, but I've told a lot of investors this over the years. This will be the last generation where mom and pop, that would be you and me, are going to do this real estate investing thing, because what will end up happening is Wall Street will get wise to this. They will come in, and instead of them trying to figure out how these little markets work, they'll just go in and buy folks like Rob and I. And they'll say, hey, this like mastermind thing you do, and this Mr. Texas, and this
Clever.
like,
It's nice.
yeah, it's nice, it's cute.
Good for you guys.
You guys did really good.
Yeah.
Here's a check that's bigger than you'll probably see most of your life, and we're gonna buy all that nonsense out, and you guys are gonna come work with us to help us go buy, $200 million in real estate a year. Like they're just gonna, that game's over, boys. Like,
Nope.
Come over here and make some real money. So that'll happen at some point.
That'd be great.
I'm fine with that.
Me too.
So then let me tell you how that works, because I got a buddy of mine actually a couple buddies, but one real close to me that got bought out by a private equity group, and his company got bought, and then they had to hire an adult. He started the company in his late 20s. So the adult was CEO, which drove him nuts, but everyone told him, like, come on, man. This is like a lot of money. Like, we need a real kind of manager, but you're going to run the kind of day-to-day stuff. And so he said the first 4 to 5 years first 2 to 3 years weren't really that fun because he's working and all that. And he said after about 24 months, they kind of figure it out. And you've got to obviously non-compete, non-circumvent, and they pay you a retainer. So that you get this big giant check, then there's a retainer for you essentially to answer their phone calls.
Yep.
And so that's what he did. He was just like, we'd be sitting there.
I can do that.
Yeah. Sitting there at happy hour, and he'd go, oh, got to take this call. That's the boss.
I might even get a new set of headphones for him.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, hey, man, what's going on? Hey, we just need this. And he's like, okay, call this guy, do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks, man. Click. And I was like, do you get those calls off? And he goes, once a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, not bad. And then he told me how much he made. I'm like, whew, boy, that's not bad.
Not at all.
A couple of phone calls a month, maybe. So anyway, all this like we're going to be able to do real estate forever, and it's going to be so easy where I can just buy a piece of buy a house in Houston, Texas, and it cash flows, and if you believe it, it'll come. All that abundance mentality, Tony Robbins nonsense, like that's going to end. And if you don't believe me, look at the mobile home park business. Look at the self-storage business. Most of the self-storage business is run by REITs and hedge funds. I shouldn't really call them hedge funds. It's really REITs. Heck, even the hedge funds that are in real estate really aren't hedge funds anymore. But anyway, so it's mostly REITs. It's mostly these big investment trusts that are going out and that's all they buy is self-storage. And they buy a ton of them. So that's kind of the reality of the world. And I think if you're thinking that's not going to happen in single family, that is a pipe dream. That is absolutely going to happen.
I've told you, I was up in New York City. I was on that panel. And these were asset managers who were simply buying single families, and they were trying to figure out a way for Wall Street to score them. Like, give me the value of this asset without me having to go do 250 appraisals.
Right, yeah.
Right, based off of income and all those stuff. And so they had worked really, really hard. And I met one of the chief economists for Dow Jones. And he was going through it, and he was explaining it all. I was like, that's all very, very exciting. I was like, but you're in a business that there's a lot of people involved.
Yes.
That's your problem, right?
And here's the other problem that most economists have, and most Wall Street guys. They believe the house, that you're looking at a house, and the house next door to the left and the house next door to the right are all the same. They look at it as a commodity, and that's not the case.
So that's exactly what they were trying to do, commoditize single families. And there were guys with big, big portfolios.
Yeah.
Guy showed up, he had 4,000 houses in Utah and Colorado.
Oof.
And he was one of the smallest guys there.
Really?
They're like, why are you here? I'm like, I have no idea why I'm here, but this is real interesting to me.
It's pretty cool. I came here for the free spread. I heard you guys
pretty
had good
much.
coffee.
It was pretty good spread, yes. New York City housing event with some big-time players there, sponsored by some big, big names. And, I was just looking at it. I'm just like, wow, you got some real issues ahead of yourselves. I was like, you can pretend like these are real numbers. And I also remember from my corporate days, it was all about the reporting. It wasn't about the actual stuff that was going on.
I got you.
So I was like, I see what you guys are doing. That's fine. Yeah. And I just knew then, I was like, so this is, like you said, this is our last generation.
Yeah, this will be the last generation.
Not going to be a lot of mom and pop, so they'll buy them up and they'll get outsourced. Like, that's kind of how I came into the business, outsourced with the hedge funds. They outsource my services, but I'm not going to be getting any equity on these deals.
No, that is the game as it is in the future. But good news is you can get in now. Yeah. But if you wait, Jason, no, I'll just do the next crash. That's
no. I mean, the positive thing is I remember we made our 2023 predictions, and again, here we go. I said we're going to find doors for $50,000 or cheaper in our hunting ground, and up here we're going to find doors for $100,000 or cheaper. That's all we've been looking at,
and that's what we're finding.
That's all we're finding.
I'm like, all right, Kate, make an offer on this one, this one, this one. She's like, can I eat lunch yet? Nope. Here's these 6
we
more.
Ordered lunch, yeah.
We ordered lunch, and I don't think she got to eat lunch. It's just like, keep this one, this one. And when did you find all these? Like before I walked into this meeting. Like they're everywhere.
Yep.
Provided you can do, I was sitting next to Eddie Gann at lunch. He graciously, I sent him a text message, said, hey man, I really appreciate the invite. I will eat steak on your tab anytime.
We're going to come back from the break. We'll talk about Eddie's meals. Hey guys, Robert and Jason here. Make sure you check out our website, mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. Hang tight. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Robert and Jason here with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Yeah, so how was lunch with those guys?
Oh, it was good.
Nice.
It's good. A lot of new investors in there.
Oh.
Which is fine. A lot of people they've done. It is interesting. The way people talk, I can almost tell you what their deal volume is.
Yes.
Someone who's got one or two, a couple syndications, 5, 10, they get past 10, 15, 10, 15, 20. They kind of talk like they've kind of got it figured out, but they don't have the confidence yet where they really understand it. So it's interesting to hear all those different conversations. But sitting there next to Eddie, one of the little sidebar conversations we were having is, this industry has changed so much in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. And I think this whole idea that if you believe it's going to stay static and there's going to be a real estate crash and then this is going to happen, then you're going to go in and buy all this real estate. I'm like, dude, it happened once. in the history of the United States. I don't think people realize that from a historic standpoint. It happened once in over 200 years. So if your business strategy is, I'm going to go buy all this stuff up in a real estate crash that happened once in 200 years, I mean, good luck. And I told everybody, we were at an event. I can't remember what event I was at. And I was on stage and they said, hey, Jason, how do you know when the next real estate crash is going to happen? I said, you won't see me. They said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not staying here in Texas. This place doesn't have real estate crashes.
Right.
Southern California does. I'll be on a plane working in Southern California 9,000 hours a week.
Yeah.
Finding deals, raising money. Mostly it's going to be raising money, right? Because that's why deals are so plentiful, because there's no money. So it's literally going to be on the phone trying to buy Coronado, Orange County, LA County at 50% off. I don't want to pay $2 million for a 500 square foot house in Coronado. I just can't. A $25 million McLaren actually sounds like a better deal than a $2 million 500 square foot house. I don't know why. I just can't get over the number.
Yeah, but man, it's perfect.
Oh, it's gorgeous. When first time I got on Coronado as an adult, I remember walking around going, man, all these roofs look really rough. And then I was like, oh, well, it never rains here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how a roofer lasted 60, 70 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a new roof. I mean, it rains once a year here for like 5 minutes. Everybody freaks out.
Yeah, you get the marine layer. You got to be aware of the marine layer. Technically, it feels like it rains every morning.
Oh, okay.
You wake up, everything's covered from the marine layer.
The marine layer.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the secret about California. If you can live within that marine layer, that's perfect living.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, there's no need for an air conditioner. Nope, not at all.
And even if you have an air conditioner, like, well, I don't know, I've had this air conditioner 45 years. Yeah, you turn it on once every 3 years.
Yes. Yes, because it's so arid, it doesn't rust. It's all good. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, that's why the best cars all come out of. That's where I got my last Land Cruiser.
All the way up there. Yeah.
They're like, wow, it looks brand new. I'm like, it's been under a tarp for 7 years in Southern California. Like, it looks brand new. I'm like, that's why you buy California cars.
Yep. So we're still super stoked about this market and the other ones that we're in. I can't believe that. I was so I went down a rabbit hole. I found that old Bob Proctor YouTube video that I posted because that's the one where he talks about, hey, you better know who you are, right? Because you're not going to go anywhere. And he describes success from Napoleon Hill. Success is the constant improvement or the constant progress towards a goal. Like that's what people should be thinking about successful. They're moving towards their goal. Not hitting the goal. You got to be moving. You get really bored when you're not doing anything.
That's right.
So I went down that rabbit hole, and then somehow I fell asleep. And so YouTube ran 8 hours of
it's funny.
Proctor and Les Brown and all that stuff, and Nightingale and all that stuff. And so, but during the middle of that, I heard a really great quote, and it's like, they have been predicting the apocalypse for 3,500 years.
Yeah.
And every year it just gets better.
Oh, that's true.
Right? So every year we're making progress as a species, as a market, as an economy. Yeah, there's some years we go back, but it's like we're all waiting for this great crash.
You just keep doing it.
It never comes.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's over before you can even... You're so afraid of it, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. So I was... I got down that hole. I was like, oh, this is a good one. Oh, I remember this. And so I just kind of had it on while I was driving around looking at all the properties. So I must have done, YouTube-wise, I did about 18 hours of that stuff. Conscious, probably about 6.
Oh, that's funny.
So I was just running in and out looking at stuff. That's what I do. I go to these marketplaces. I can really get in and out pretty quickly, understand what the construction is going to look like. And, man, we found probably 3 or 4 that we should absolutely get.
Yeah, we got offers going out today.
Yep.
Signed an amendment for one today. Eddie and I were having this conversation about what's the hardest thing to do in this business, and it's construction.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everything else it's second is probably property management. That can be a pain. The deals really aren't that hard to find. They're pretty much everywhere. But that's why I keep telling folks, and they go, Jason, I mean, this is a deal and that's a deal. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to understand, dude, you have to operationalize that.
Yes.
In fact, when you go to business school, you know what the real part of an MBA is? It's all of that operational. finance is a component. Obviously, accounting is a big component of it. But when you really get down to it, it's building an organizational structure that can perform on whatever this intended goal here is, based around a certain strategy and a tactical response to it. So the reality is like, well, how do you do these things? And how do you do them well? Because there's deals everywhere. Oh, Jason, there's deals in Victoria. Yeah, I bet there is. But I'm not figuring that out. We got a guy, I was chatting with a guy, he's got some stuff down in Beaumont. He's like, y'all in Beaumont? I'm like, no. Nope. But wait, you're in this other market that's 2 hours south of here. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I've got assets there and I'm just not in Beaumont yet.
Yeah, we can deploy. Yep.
Yeah, so, what ends up happening is
I get people looking at me cross-eyed.
Oh,
you don't do Beaumont? No, I do not do Beaumont.
I don't do Beaumont.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do it. Why not? Because I don't have time to.
Yeah, I got to go figure it out.
Yeah, it took me 5 years to figure out Corpus and some of those southern Texas. Like, no, I ain't.
Yeah, I'm good.
We're good here. We're good right here.
Yeah, it's always humorous to me, and I've said this for a couple of years now, and now unfortunately investors are getting their butts whipped. What happens in this state, what happens particularly in this market, you really can't take other places. So I've had a lot of LPs, limited partners, come to me and tell me, hey, Jason, we're going to be getting big capital calls on these out-of-state deals. And I said, let me guess, the Texas model doesn't work in Arizona.
Yeah.
No. Doesn't work in Albuquerque.
Tulsa.
It doesn't work in Tulsa. Doesn't work in Florida. Yeah, so these gurus are thinking the apartment complexes are as easy here as they are everywhere else.
Oh, no. Clearly.
Clearly.
Just 4 hours south they're not, right? That's the deal we're talking about now, right?
Yeah, it's like now they're going and they're just getting just absolutely annihilated.
Hammered, yeah.
Annihilated. And it's not when times are good. It's when there's a little change in interest rates, a little downturn in the job market, and then all of a sudden their deals are in peril because they're not Texas.
Yeah. And that's, it gets a little hairy. And, one of the things that we've made it very clear to talk to people about is like, this is not easy.
No.
The plan is simple. The execution is not easy at all. And unfortunately, someone sold you a bad bill of goods.
Well, what I find interesting about folks, I was listening to, was it Joe Rogan? I can't remember who I was listening to in the last couple of days. Too. And one of the things they said is, these guys will sit down. Oh, no, it was Ryan Stone. And he's like, these guys will sit down and build a business plan that's 100 pages. And they'll crank it out. It looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, and if you've really ever run or built a successful business, your business plan will fit on a bar napkin. Now, what will take volumes is what that operational plan looks like.
Execution.
Yeah, it's the execution. And it's, okay, we were having a conversation today. What if somebody can't fill out the online form to rent a property? What phone number are we using in this particular submarket? Yep. Okay, then if this happens, then what happens next? That's the part that you should spend hours on improving.
Yep.
Your business plan is pretty simple. It sits on a bar napkin. In order to meet my goals, I need to have whatever number free and clear, $3 million, $4 million, $20, $30 million in free and clear real estate. Then you back into how much do I need to own so I can make that happen in the next 5 years.
All right, folks, hang tight. We're going to be back. Let's go.
Okay, go meet with Harold?
Yeah. We'll be back.